Hello and welcome from live inside the Polytunnel. Today we're going to change the Polytunnel from spring to summer because summer's already happened, and let me take you and show you what's gone on. For one, the strawberries are looking fantastic, but it's absolutely bolted. So all my beautiful Chinese broccoli, it's all bolted, so it's all going to come out now. So let's change for Polytunnel over, let's get you straight, over to summer. And I do want to harvest some of this stuff. It's not all lost. And the way to harvest it so it doesn't go all manky is take all the base as well. Right, what we'll do, I think we'll get a tub for all the weeds and all the stuff. So bear with me. So here we go, we've got 2 tubs, and these will go lovely. Right. Now, if you haven't seen this before, it gives you a beautiful leaf. Let's put this on the table. Now that's a decent one, which hasn't bolted. But it's just coming into flower. And I use these for stir fries, mainly. We do eat a fair few. And this purple one here, it's absolutely beautiful. It's ruby streak mustard, and I want to harvest some of this, so I don't want it all to be lost. So that'll be coming home. Right, let's get pulling the remainder of it out. It's a very shallow root system on here. And we'll see where we get to. That's gone. And it's a case of anything that's bolted. The time to eat it is pretty much straight away. Otherwise it's going to start tasting bitter very, very quickly. Now normally I would get at least 2 months harvest from the Chinese broccoli, but we was very late putting it in due to weather being terrible, and then One day where it went over 100 degrees in here, absolutely mullered the crop, which, you know, good and bad points. Bad point is I can't enjoy this for very long, but the good point is that I can get on with tomatoes now, really. So what I'm going to do, this will stay in the ground, but I'll take all the flowers off this end and I can harvest the ones this side of the lettuce next week, so we're not just destroying everything all in one hit. And by taking the flowers off, it'll just put the crop to sleep, basically. It won't grow anymore because it was putting all its focus into the flowers. So it's just putting it on hold, essentially. But it will need eating within the next 2 weeks. So, cut these stems right back. Which is perfect, really, because that's where I would eat it anyway. So and by that time we should really have our strawberries all in the ground by then, so a little bit at a time, that's all you can do. Interesting, we've got a white flower on this one. So let's get these tubs out of the polytunnel. Because you haven't got smell-o-vision, but it really does smell of a blossom in here. Right, weeds, and let's take you a quick look and see what we've got so far. It's weed city in here, but we do have our moon red lettuce clumping up very nice, and I'll take all the lettuce out. Well, actually I'll take 2 lettuce out and we'll just work up until that point. And then all this can be harvested this week, and then this lot can be taken out as well. And there's probably a better angle on the strawberries. Beautiful. Okay, let's pop you back over there. And I'm just trialing this new way of giving you guys some content over live stream or not, or I can just revert back to videos. It's entirely up to you. Let me know in the comments and I'll go with whatever you say, really. Get our bucket, and this is the most used thing on my allotment, and it's basically the old swimming device that the kids use for lessons. I take it everywhere. It's great for your knees, and it's far better than the ones you buy for kneeling pads. So ask your grandkids, your kids, if they've got any around, get your hands on it because it's fantastic. Right, let's get these weeds out of here. Can you see me? All right, just about. you're wondering why I've got gloves on, I was weeding outside earlier and I picked up 2 stinging nettles back to back, and Jesus did it hurt. Big clump, straight in. So I'm not going to make that mistake now. And when you're looking for weeds, most of these are just surface weeds, and you dig them out and they won't come back. Well, all weeds come back, that's a bit of a lie, but you can just hoe it over, leave it for a while, and then collect all the dead leaves off top. The ones you need to get out are bindweed and couch grass. The roots are very, very important, you get those out. Oh. Right. Didn't take too long, did it? And I'm sorry if you can't really see. Let's try and move you again. Right, hopefully that's a bit better. Now I did say we'll go up to the first 2 lettuces. No real slug infestation, which is good. There's a couple of eaten leaves. I say that and I find a slug straight away. But you can see, not a bad lettuce at all. Right, so we'll just work our way through. So this tunnel is around 3 years old, and I fought long and hard before getting it, and I've always had smaller greenhouses and whatnot with small, really, I'd say the cheaper polytunnels on the market, but they don't last. They don't last at all. You get a big storm, it blows away, or it breaks, or it's fragile. But everything, as you grow as a gardener, as you get more interested in the hobby, or if you get an enjoyment out of your garden and you want to move to that next level, then Polytunnel is, alright, it's a great place to be. Right, that is we'll worry about that side later, but that's not a bad start, is it? Normally on an empty bed like this I'd dig it all over, but today I mean the soil on here is really good. I spend a lot of time weeding this and getting it right. I put well rotten manure on, farmyard manure on, pretty much everything on here. I keep my soil in the best condition ever, and hopefully it'll pay me back with decent crops. But it's all about the soil. Right, so that's ready to go. And what we'll do, we'll stick a couple of halos in. Let me go and get the others. Now, and then we want a few tomato plants, don't we? So we have tomato super steak. Let me find something else. Right, so the first two are tiger stripe, which sound fun, and then I will go with a mystery tomato, because I've lost the label, so that'll be interesting, won't it? Let's see what we get. We'll get a compost. Now, you may not have seen the halo video that I've just put on. It's probably not your thing, but if it is, it's still on there, but you're going to go through the same thing here. And I simply go an inch deep with a halo, the plant halo to start with. And I space them 6 inches apart ish. And let's break these off. Right, all the stinging nettles have gone, so the gloves can go. And there are a few things I missed out on that video, filling the halos up, but I want to keep the tutorial ones kind of short because people don't have attention spans nowadays. It's just the way it is. Lovely root ball on that, and I want to go fairly deep with this. I'll take the bottom leaves off because, as we know, this is where the roots are going to come from. And then we'll fill up. It's going to be a case of fill, water, fill. Right, let's get some water. Water this in. And once that water's gone down a little bit, I'll show you a little magic trick. We'll get the next one in. And I'll do these towards the back of a polytunnel, I don't know if you do. And then angle the tomatoes into the middle. That's how I've done it every year. They always seem to like it that way, to be fair. So break that off. And you don't really need the halos, by the way. I've gardened years without one, gardened with them, without them. There are things you can do. You can just bank for soil, and I'll probably show you on a later one. But you can just bank the soil into a trench, plant all your tomatoes into the trench, and then when you're watering, the water only fills that one trench, and it only needs to be 1 inch deep. But because the water's filled the trench, it just all soaks down to the roots and doesn't bounce off. Which, if this is your first year as a gardener and you've got a polytunnel, you're going to see the water bouncing off the soil, because it will get very, very dry very, very fast. And what you'll see I'm doing, I'm taking the bottom leaves off this one, put it in, and I want it to 1 inch below. And that's all going. And I've said it a few times before why I do it so deep. If this is your first time here, the reason we plant deep is because it increases the root ball size. And if you've got a bigger root ball, you can take up more nutrients to the plant. It's as simple as that. More roots, better plant, bigger harvest, better crop. So it's a win on all occasions. Right, you'll notice plenty of dirt's gone in the underside of here, which if I try and fill up now, it'll just stay full of water, which is not ideal for anyone, and we don't want that at all. So we water this one in. Let that sink down. And you can see this one all right, can't you? So this one's not ready yet, but as the soil will dry off, it'll be like a sandcastle that your kids used to make. Let it completely drain off, and then you can just simply lift this off, empty it, clean it out with a hose and pop it back over. And that's the simplest way of keeping these nice and clean. And then if it gets very, very hot where you are, you can always put a good layer of grit in here as well, and it'll just stop that evaporation, and it'll just keep the moisture down into the roots exactly where you want it. Right, moving on. Our mystery tomato. I will knock something over today. I'm just Just being so clumsy. And if you're wondering why's my voice changed, I've had a bout of man flu, and we all know man flu, it's more or less terminal. It's no good for anyone. And I can't really deal with it. It just took my throat completely out. So my last couple of videos, I do sound a bit lower, bit late night love, but hopefully I'm on the mend. Right, is that kind of straight? Now let's get a label into the ones that I know are tiger tomatoes. There you go. And now into the mystery unknown, I haven't got a label, tomato. There is a massive slug in the bottom of here, so I'm going to go on the dispatch mission in a minute. Let me go and get rid of this bad boy. Look away now. Oh, and another. Jesus. Right, so there's a free lunch for the birds. So we pop it in the hole. And again, we should have a sweepstake on which tomato this is. So I've grown super steak tomatoes, tiger stripy ones, gardener's delight, first in field and money maker, I believe. I always end up giving a load of tomatoes away. I say far too many, and then I've got nowhere to put them. Here we're going to hold, what we got, 6, 9, possibly 10 in this one row, and then the greenhouse possibly, and over the other side, and possibly in here if the carrots come out all right. But it is what it is. Some do a lot better than others as well, so I may gamble and put all super steak in and they'll be terrible. It just depends year on year, and it just depends. Right, let's get this out of the way. I need some more water. Now, I'm down south and we have had the wettest, absolutely horrible weather for what seems like forever. All of March, most of May was wet, and it was absolutely, it's horrible. The last 3 days have turned round and it's been really hot, really fast, and really sunny, really bright. Everything is growing faster than it normally would, as you can see with all this lot. But it's something we're going to have to get used to as gardeners. It's just how to adapt. And I quite enjoy a challenge. So Yeah, right. So this is, the tomatoes are in, which is good, and we'll cover around the end one, but if I show you here, so they're cooking away nicely, and what I want to do now, let's try and move you to a better position, so bear with me. Well, let's see how we get on with that. You're outside the tunnel, by the way, but can you see? Possibly. Right, excuse the mess. Didn't know I'd be having videos, but I thought I'd just do this just to try something new, and if you like it, let me know, give me some thumbs up, show me some love, and hopefully I'll be doing this an hour or 2 hours after I've filmed, and then I can respond on the keyboard to answer any questions you may have, and we'll see how that plays out. If it doesn't work, you know, we can scrap it and go back to videos, which I'm going to still keep doing, by the way. Right, so we've got some dahlias somewhere. Now this is my dahlias I've sown from seed, and hopefully you can see that, but these have come out really well, and these are dahlia pom-poms. But we're at that stage, do I plant them straight out into the garden or let them grow on in here? And what I've come to the conclusion is, I'm going to pop these on and harden them off every other day outside and see where we go. And in a week's time, it's not long, I know, we'll put them into a final growing position. And with that extra compost round the root ball, it'll all get planted with a compost, so it'll give it something good to grow into. So let's get, first of all, some pots. We have some up here, and we want a trowel of some description. I use a smaller, sharper trowel for this one, and I'll just cut my way in, trying not to damage the roots. And you'll see, because it's got a sharp point to it, they come out really well. So there's a tip, take that away. Where's my compost? Okay, and then I'll put them into a tray. Hopefully you can see all right. I'll put them into a tray, and then we'll water the whole tray in one. That'll be the best thing to do, and let's do it properly, because I'm not normally this disorganized. Right, that's a bit of spare kale I've still got, just in case the other one doesn't make it. I can't believe that hasn't bolted. Right. Bit of dry stuff, not going to hurt. Okay, so we've got our dahlia, and they're pom-pom dahlias, just in case you are wondering. It's just from a cheap packet of seeds that I bought from the range. I found the range is, personally I don't really like the shop. I had a bad experience trying to take something back and they wouldn't allow it. But for seeds, seed packets, they're fairly cheap. And that's what you want really. Especially if you grow a lot. If I could grow money, I would. Be nice, wouldn't it? So, little money tree. I do get told off from time to time for touching roots and stems. I've been gardening for so long now. It's like when you drive. When you first learn, you drive at 10 to 2 constantly. And as you get more experienced or stupid, whichever way that you want to look at it, you kind of cut corners, and we all do it. Now I'm very interested to see if these work this year, because no doubt the weather will be against us, the slugs will be against us. I don't use nematodes or anything like that yet. It is on my radar, but nothing yet. I know a lot of the other YouTubers do it just to make their gardens look absolutely fantastic constantly. I don't think I've reached that level yet by a long shot, but I'll try and be as transparent with you as I can. If I start using it, I will let you know. I've had quite a few emails from different brands, different gardening brands, wanting to do kind of deals. So if I promote their product, but just to give you a heads up, I'm going to be very, very choosy. I'm not in this for a quick buck by any chance. And YouTube, when you're a small channel, you earn nothing, by the way. This is just out of love. You earn very, very little. But some of these companies, they are offering quite decent things. But the way I'm going to look at it is, if I wouldn't use it, or if I don't think it's a decent product, I'm not going to touch it with a barge pole. So if you are one of those companies and you've got a sub product or a product that you know I won't like, you're just trying to sell it, then don't bother emailing. Yeah. But if you're a decent company, then my ears are open. Right, now it's only a tiny one, but I have just a thing for it, and it's a little black sack. It's like a little bin liner with holes in. I buy these from a Chinese website. It's called Temu, and they're absolutely dirt cheap, and they last, and you can reuse them. So it ticks every box. The only box it doesn't tick, it takes about 10 days to arrive, so you know, you have to plan ahead. But I've ordered 200 of these bad boys, so I just won't run out of seedling pots. Right. There's another. And we'll get some water and we'll water these in. Last one. Move my label so I know what they are. So Dahlia pom-pom. Right. So there we go, they're all potted up. And we'll get those watered. Now, because we're not potting anything else up, I don't think. Let's have a look. I'll put some of this compost back into the bag. It'll keep it moist. We don't want it drying out. And then it'll be no good to anyone really. We'll just have to rehydrate it. But right. So that's that done. Let me go and get some water. And we'll do, and like what I says, we'll harden these off, so we'll put them outside throughout the day and then bring them in when I lock Polytunnel up at night. Brings me to a good point actually. I don't actually lock the Polytunnel, I'll just put the latch on it. That's why if anyone wants to get in, they can get in, can't they? So it just saves any criminal damage than forcing locks. Right, so that's all done, that's all clear. While we're here, I may as well talk you through what we've got going. So, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Let's take a look in the greenhouse. And this will be our chili house. We have tomatoes, we have a nice tray of sweet corn, a dahlia that went to seed straight away, straight after it come out as a seedling. That's interesting. Labels are on these, super steak. We've got a tray of courgettes. These are green machete, but they are looking, I've watered this today and it's absolutely bone dry again. So I need to move these to a better position. We've got some sweet corn that will be going into the Polytunnel. The last one I put in last week, it got ate by cutworm straight through the middle of the stem. So I'm a bit to put them in yet. I might do one a week to see how we get on, and hopefully we get a winner. More courgettes, these are coming on. And we have a tray of sprouts. These need to go in pretty much desperately. Any more hot days in here and they're going to cook. I don't know if you can see, I have Let me try and move the camera. This thing here, it's an automatic window vent, so I never need to open the window in here. I highly recommend these things. They're absolutely fantastic, and there is a video on my channel, so check it out under the DIY section. Easy to fit. This was a little bit fiddly, but not too bad. And this was retrofitted to a very old shabby greenhouse that I've got, and from this moment on I will never have a greenhouse without having one of these. This is how much I love that thing. It's an automatic vent opener, or an auto vent greenhouse control device thingy, Veggie. Right, back to the polytunnel. Right, so where have we got to? We've got all our tomatoes in for now. Let's shorten this a little bit. Let's move across so you can just see what's happening into this corner. And we have aubergines and jalapeno peppers, and pretty much everything else that needs to be out into the ground fairly soon. So that will be the next job. Let's get this done. But for now, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one today, and I know it's a bit unusual and it's alive, and you can re-watch it, by the way. Something different. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment, and we'll see you on the next video.